I always wondered if you could grow a carrot from a carrot, but you can't. You can grow a plant that yields seeds that you can then plant to grow the real carrots. That was a mouthful, right? Well, allow me to explain. This is the story of carrot. At first, I thought that you could just grow carrots from carrots. So 2 years ago, I cut the top off of my carrot, placed it in a little cup of water, and it started to grow. I figured if you can grow potatoes from potatoes, they're both root vegetables, so it should be the same thing with carrots, right? But I was wrong, because as this carrot started to grow, the top part started to grow first. Some of the days I forgot to continuously fill it with water, so I almost killed it, but we saved it. Then it began to develop roots at the bottom of the carrot top. We had to religiously change the water every 3 days. Once it grew roots, it was ready to move into a bed of soil so that the real carrots could grow. I was pumped when it looked ready for soil, so I put it in its new home, and I even made this garden box too, by the way.
I'm a real plant lady.
But anywho, if you know me, you know that plants are all trial and error. And we don't always get lucky with our harvests since we're in Canada and the winters are very harsh. We only have about 3 months to grow stuff from June to September. However, I planted the carrot in soil and I added a little label and some knives and forks. Basically, the forks help me tell the pests that try and feast on my carrot tops for their family of 17 squirrels to fork off. They help repel the animals that try and eat them because those animals don't like the sharp edges of the plastic cutlery like bunnies and squirrels. Soon, the carrot started to shoot up in the soil like
A little boy going through puberty.
and here's where you gotta be careful and where I actually ran into a little
Problem.
because caterpillars love to eat carrot greens. And one morning I went outside to see that there was a little green caterpillar on my plant, and I don't have experience with caterpillars. I didn't think anything of it. I let the little guy feast away, but it ate those greens quick. And after only 3 days, I had to bring the caterpillar to a new home, and I'm actually now really upset that I didn't take the caterpillar and grow it into a butterfly. But that's okay because I gave it a new home, and this year we're gonna look out for more caterpillars that join the carrot plant garden so that we can grow them into butterflies.
Anywho,
After I gave the little caterpillar a new home, the plant started to grow back and eventually the flowers grew. I was looking at this plant thinking, what in the heckin' am I growing? This is not a carrot plant. Are carrots gonna grow? But then I realized that this was not just any flower. It was a flower that looked to house inside of it carrot seeds. I had planted carrots before and I kind of knew what they looked like, and I was like, wait, these look like carrot seeds. So I took those flowers and I cut them off the plant. And I thought if I could plant those seeds, then I could surely grow my own carrots. And by the way, you gotta make sure that you wait until the flowers turn brown to cut them off, because then they'll dry out much quicker and your seeds will be ready to plant or to save for next year because they last a long time. First, I dried the seeds out for a week in this little cup, and trust me, I know what you're thinking. These seeds look like that good plant. But trust me, it's not that type of good plant, I promise. We grow that too, but we can't really post about that. Anyway, but to learn that if you place a carrot top in water and then in soil, once it grows roots, it'll grow seeds that you can then plant to grow carrots was a hard fact that whipped my butt, because this fact took me about a full year to learn. But if it taught me anything, it was even more exciting growing my own seeds and germinating my own little carrot tails to actually finally grow the carrot. See, it's not easy to find love. Now here's the thing about new love. You have to feed it even if it's a mistake of your past. And soon enough, Carrot was back on his feet, planted in a new pot, this time ready for real carrots to sprout. And I was just in time to plant those seeds for the summer, since carrots only take about 14 weeks to grow. So, in order to actually plant these things, I figured I've got to remove these little spikes that surround the little seeds and then germinate those little seeds. And once they sprout little tails, they'll then be ready to plant in soil to grow into a plant that you can harvest real carrots from, or you can save the seeds for next year since they last a few years. But finally, after germinating the seeds that I grew from the carrot top in the soil, I waited 12 weeks. And by the way, pro botanist tip is that fruits contain seeds while the vegetables contain all the other parts of the plant and can consist of roots, stems, leaves, bulbs. So technically something like a cucumber is a fruit, but a carrot is a vegetable. Well, anywho, you never know what could happen when you put your mind to something. Well, when I tell you that I've never been more excited for anything in my entire life, there is no cap there, because this carrot started to grow. I even gave it optimal growing conditions and put it in my grow box. And as you can see, it It was doing amazing. Rafi loved the smell of it. I didn't allow him to eat them, but I repotted it. I put that outside. Luckily, we have a south-facing balcony, and our carrot started to
Thrive!
Remember, I'm not a religious carrot grower, so I don't really know when to pull it, but I figured let's let these leaves brown a bit and let's give it a go. Let's pull it out. By now it was around October, and we all know that the winters in Canada are very harsh, and so I kind of had to pull it out of the soil because it was getting a bit too frosty outside. I was so excited for the carrot to pop out, but when I pulled it, I realized,
Dang.
it's not ready. Look, I pulled the carrot out too early. I was convinced that it was ready, but you have to wait until the carrot green tops get brown. Just like how you need to wait until the flowers that hold the seeds get brown before cutting them off the plant and drying them, it's the same thing when you pull the carrots. But of course, I'm still learning this on the way, right? So I put it back in the soil for 5 weeks, hoping that the roots would reattach to the soil and grow a bit more, but feeling like I absolutely ruined my shot at growing homegrown carrots from the homegrown seeds. But a miracle took place because although they weren't too pretty, it worked. I figured, okay,
What to do.
of course, I had to share one with my dog, but I figured, let's make my world famous chicken soup recipe. Well, actually, it's my mom's recipe, and we'll add that carrot to it. I also figured I would plant the other carrot back in the soil again because it worked last time and they were kind of small, so I was hoping that they would grow again, but it never did. Honestly, they looked like little dancing humans. It was so funny and cute. But this also shows that I planted the seeds way too close to each other, so we're gonna learn for this upcoming summer. And here's where it really gets good. You know what I had to do from the garden to the plate? I started making the chicken soup. Guys, all I need to say here is good soup, and the soup turned out amazing. This recipe is simple for you to use at home too, for yourself and for your dog. I make this for us bi-weekly. You use a whole chicken, some carrots, onions, garlic, some celery if you have. I didn't have any, so I chose to use potatoes and some ginger too. Once you have all of your ingredients ready, you gotta get a big pot. Oh yeah, you also wanna add onions. I had some enoki mushrooms in there, but I didn't add them to the soup. Anyway, got my pot, put my chicken right inside, fill that pot with water to cover the entire chicken. You see it bubbling up a little bit. And then you wanna peel all of your veggies, get them cut up and ready.
Ready to go.
Add them to your pot, and once you add all of your veggies, I also added some lemon pepper. I didn't add any salt because the chicken is already really salty in and of itself in the oils, but then you start to boil it, and once that chicken comes to a boil, you simmer it for 4 hours. I actually simmered it for 6 or 7 hours by accident, so the chicken was a little bit too boiled. But then you gotta take your chicken out of the soup, peel out all the bones, and then add the chicken back to the soup. And then there's gonna be a layer of oil on the top that you want to remove because you don't want to consume that. Once you successfully do that, don't pour your oil down the sink either because it can harden your sink and clog it up. So make sure you wait till that oil hardens and then you can throw it in the garbage. But after this step, your little doggy friend will be waiting. It will be pretty much ready. You can boil it for however long you want and the flavors will just keep on coming, but the water will lessen and lessen after each hour that you boil it. So I ended up boiling it for another hour afterwards. Don't use chicken broth because we all know that the best chicken soup comes from the real chicken itself. Don't cheat here, okay? My mother taught me this. Taste test reveal was
Incredible.
and I had all of these carrot tops left. So I called up my sister and I was like,
Hey, you're amazing at making pesto. Let's do a garden to the plate with all of these carrot tops that I have.
and she's like,
Come on over. Let's do it.
so we took those carrot tops. We also took some basil. We took some garlic, some lemon. We took some red wine vinegar. We took some walnuts, some extra premium, extra virgin olive oil, really nice coarse salt, some seasoning. I think that was oregano. Parmesan cheese. Then you're ready to go. Blend it up. And once you give it a good blend, get your mint, add some mint in there, and then you're ready to go. But we didn't just eat this as normal pesto. We got a piece of nice sourdough bread from the market, put some nice churned butter, and then we put the pesto, and then we put some prosciutto. 10 out of 10 recommended. But my friends, that's the story of carrot. We all now know that you can grow seeds from a carrot, not the real carrots. So the fact that most root veggie tops you grow in water will only grow into a plant that yields seeds that you can then plant to grow into the crop is so cool. We learned so much about root vegetables, how to grow seeds, how to plant them, and how to actually yield vegetables that you can then use to make recipes like chicken soup and pesto, and so many other yummy things. I do wish wish I kept that caterpillar, but that is okay because the summer's coming up quick. Squirrel, you already know it's always a wild ride with me. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to
Follow.
subscribe, and
Always.
remember,
I love you.